started.
Let me read the question. Which one's number one?
Sorry.
Okay. All right. So
the way they came in, it made more sense for that one to be one.
all right. Question number one. What is STR?
Which a lot of people will say, hey, y'all in Airbnb, or you doing Airbnb, or you have Airbnbs, when actually it's called short-term rental. And we have short-term rental properties, and you'll also hear people say STRs, but most people just automatically refer it to as Airbnb.
Yep.
Even though there are several booking platforms to use for short-term rental properties. So Airbnb,
VRBO,
yeah, TripAdvisor,
Booking.com,
you have FlipKey, you have so many short-term rental platforms, booking platforms. But the most popular one, the most common one to people is Airbnb, which I will say Airbnb is our favorite. So it is one of the main ones. It's a very simple platform, user-friendly. They have a great support team, admin group. So it is expected to be number one and the main one. So that's STR, short-term rentals.
All right. Second question. Two-part question. How and why did we start?
Which we have mentioned this before. But we started because I wanted us to be able to just get away. I don't know if you remember Sweet Life with Zach and Cody back in the day, but they lived in a hotel because their mom was the manager. And I wanted us to be able to just go away for a weekend and just have the hotel staff know who we were. I know it was crazy, but the kids loved it, so we thought it was a great idea. I presented that idea to Ricky and asked him about us renting our house out just for the weekend. And what was your response?
First response was no. I didn't want nobody sleeping in my bed.
Yes.
It's my bed. So
yes.
Knowing that I want to sleep in the kids' bed. But I was they tag teaming. The kids were saying that they were cool with it and wanted to do it. She came to me talking about several different business opportunities, and everybody was on board except me. So I was like, I can't keep saying no to everything that she come up with. Usually everything costs 20, 30, up to 100,000. One business was like $700,000. So I was like,
which will be coming too.
But this one didn't cost that much money because we already had everything. All we needed to do was basically go get new sheets, new bedding strictly for them. We got bed protectors, everything we could to make sure that we protected our family. And then we started.
Yep, and we started just by renting our house out on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then from there.
But it was strictly in the beginning to go on vacation.
Yes. Yeah. Which we never did do.
Nah.
We never did that.
Well, I would say when you make a significant amount of money in a short period of time, you see the opportunity.
Yeah.
So either you take that opportunity and push it forward, or you just sit on it and sometimes you just waste it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. Question number 3.
All right. It says, what type of house do you need for STR? It has another part. It says, can you rent any place? You got house, condo, room, couch, and this is going to be some of the answers.
Yes, I was going to say, you can rent out anything. You can rent out anything where you can lay your head and sleep. Yeah. You can rent it out. So, a tent. I don't know if you all remember when we had the comet come through, and there was so many people who were sleeping in tents. So they were people were literally renting out their front yards for people to bring their campers, to bring their tents. So you can rent out anything. You can do a house, you can do an apartment, You can do a condo. You can do
your
backyard, a tiny house, a camper,
a
couch. You can rent out a couch. I mean, you can a barn, a bus. You can rent out any space on the booking platforms for people to rent out. And believe me, there are people who will stay just on someone's couch. I mean, yeah, we wouldn't, but you have people who literally will rent out someone's couch to stay on because they're traveling, coming in town for.
I can understand it more when you may have a very limited budget, but you have something that you have to do. So the couch will be really good.
Yes, yeah. And Tina, I seen your question. You didn't miss much. We were just stating as far as everybody referred to it as Airbnb, but it's really called short-term rentals or STRs. And then we just discussed as far as how we started, and we started by renting our house out on the weekend.
And you can watch the replay on YouTube. Fourth question, it says how to start. And this is several different points on the answer.
Yes, okay. Those are mine.
So you want to go with the first? Not tapping it.
So how to start, which is the biggest question we get. And you want to start by deciding what type of space you want to rent out. So everything we just mentioned before. Do you want to rent out just a bedroom? Do you want to rent out space in your garage? If you have a space up above your garage to rent out, do you want to just rent out your couch? Do you want to rent out your entire house? You want to rent out a tent in your backyard or your camper or whatever you have, a houseboat, a boat, whatever you have. First thing is to decide what you're going to rent out.
Yes. Quick thing. When she said rent out your house or rent out a room in your house, anything on certain platforms, especially Airbnb, you will state that in there either the entire house or a spare room.
Yeah.
So those that are looking to rent out will know if they have the entire house for themselves or if they have a room which you will possibly be present there.
Yeah. And all the platforms, they're really good about whatever you decide, whatever space you decide, then your listing profile, when you go ahead and create your account, you can have it structured around your space specifically. So that's good to know. And we'll go into that more later on.
Point 2 is you need to calculate your expenses, your profit, to determine what it's worth as far as on a nightly rate. And if you're renting anything, that has to be put into that number.
Yeah. So any expense. So your rent. If you're renting out your entire home, that means you're gonna have to leave and go stay somewhere also, right? So if you gotta book a hotel or whatever, then you want to factor in your expenses for that. So let's say you go and you get a property, you buy a property just for short-term rentals. So you want to factor in your monthly mortgage, utilities, supplies that you're going to need, insurance. What else? What other expense would? And then maintenance too, and tax.
Maintenance. If you're renting a house, also landscaping. Yeah. You'll want to keep it look as neat as possible.
And housekeeping too, so inside and out. So all of those expenses, you want to take that amount, and then also you want to factor in a reasonable price you would like to profit you would like to make each month. So you factor all of that in under your total expense. From there, you divide it on how many days out of the month you want to rent out the place. And then that would give you your nightly rate. So the nightly rate is what you're going to charge the guests. Okay,
You
so
didn't include the profit, right?
yes, it definitely included the profit.
So
Yes,
you ain't doing it for nothing if you
right.
don't include your profit. You want to make sure
include that.
if you have a certain thing that you're trying to, a certain amount you need to make per month, say if it's 1,000, then you want to try to look at how much 1,000 or 2,000 is broke down over 30 days. And then you got to be realistic. Every single day it's not going to be booked, especially if you're living at home. So it's going to be based on the weekend. So you just got to count. It's normally 4 weekends in a month, so you need to count by those days in that month. You may get 5 weekends out of some months.
Yeah, and you got to be fair and reasonable too. Yes, everybody wants to make money, but you got to put yourself in the guest shoes also, because we all travel. So how much are you willing to spend for a space? So if you're not willing to spend, or if you wouldn't spend $150 a night to stay somewhere that's comparable to your home, don't be trying to charge nobody $150, $200 a night, because that's not reasonable. So you want to keep it reasonable. Now, let's say your expenses end up being $150,000. And the only thing you can rent out is a bedroom. 9 times out of 10, people are not going to book it. So this is not going to be worth it, for you.
And if your expenses are then capped out at that amount, I don't know what you did wrong as far as buying new stuff. Not necessarily you don't buy some stuff for yourself.
Yeah, and
it doesn't cost $150,000 realistically.
Yeah, and that was going to be the other part too. Don't go in trying to have this glammed out place. You don't have to. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep your expenses low. Don't be going out taking a bunch of loans, business loans, trying to get this going. Because there's no need in going in debt for this. The whole point of the company of Airbnb, and I'm gonna speak for Airbnb specifically because that is our main booking platform that we use. But that's how they started. They started off by just allowing people to rent out their couch and then a room in their home to keep your travel expenses low. But then also at the same time, it keeps you as the host keep your expenses low, so you don't have to go in debt and you can make money from it.
Yes.
All right. Next.
Yeah, this is something that's you're going to answer. I know just a little bit. This is the bookworm that knows all the important stuff. Yeah. I deal with the finances, so I can break numbers down for you, but when it comes to laws, I can't help you.
Yeah. So after you have calculated the expense, including your profit, you got your nightly rate, and you find that it is feasible, where it's going to be fair for the guests, it's going to be a low cost for you to start. Then the next thing is for you to research. And you could do this in the beginning as well, but you want to research your city. You want to make sure that there's no laws, restrictions, anything forbidding you to do short-term rentals. We're in Davidson County, so we're in Nashville. And Nashville has several laws that don't prevent you, per se, from having a short-term rental, but they make sure that you have to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes.
And laws are always changing as well, so you're going to want to make sure you stay on top of that as well. But you want to just make sure that your neighborhood, if you're going to rent out a house or your own home, you want to make sure that your neighborhood, if it has a HOA, that they don't have any restrictions with short-term rentals. And then there are loopholes even with that. If you own your home and you're in an area that has restrictions, then they do have loopholes to where you can still kind of get a permit to bypass that law, that restriction. But you got to make sure you do your part to do the research and ask questions to the Department of Codes or your city council to make sure that you're doing everything legally up front, because you don't want to have to pay for any penalties on the back end. So make sure you do your part on that.
I know you can be fined pretty hefty too on a daily basis.
Yeah, they charge here in Nashville. They'll charge daily. Yes, absolutely.
Also, you want to make sure that you're putting in money within your expenses and your profit margin about taxes. You don't pay your taxes, you can lose your business. That's with any business. It doesn't matter. You don't pay taxes, you can find yourself in a big hole.
Absolutely. Now, so okay, let's just recap for a second. So how to start: decide on your space, calculate all expenses, including your profit on how much you want to make, so that way you can get your nightly rate. And then also check as far as the research as far as laws and restrictions in your area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you want to have a good location as much as possible. Places close to amenities and just different resorts or whatever that they're coming there for entertainment. As close as you can get to that, it'd be great. But it just depends. You're going to have some customers that's cool with being right there. If you was like right on the strip, so you was right on Broadway. Some people will love that. Some people would like to be a little bit away from Broadway because of the noise and everything. So you got to take all that in consideration too.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not in a major city, then there's other things that you can do. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is research to see what main events are coming to your area. Mm-hmm. So for instance, let's say for Columbia, so people in Columbia. So of course, you have Muletown. Mm-hmm. It's Muletown, Tennessee. So you have Mule Day, but you want to Muletown, you want to promote that and market towards that. But then there are so many other events that come to the cities. It might be an event that you go to, so it might not be one that you are aware of, but you're not marketing to yourself. You're marketing to the majority of people who are going to travel to that area.
You got AAU tournaments, softball tournaments. I know Columbia has a big area, a nice area for softball tournaments. So you got to just consider the things that brings a lot of people in town for more than just one night, but just different events like that. Yeah.
And then for the ones that are in major cities, of course you have concerts and sporting events. And here we have a lot of, marathons and
Titans games.
Yeah. So there are so many events that happen in the city. You just want to get online and research to see what events are going on in your area. And then you just market towards, those people, those travelers who are coming. But let's say you're in a rural area and it's like 10, 15 miles or whatever to the store. Well, then you use that to your advantage, because guess what? People like just getting away from the hustle and bustle and want to relax. So market that, use that, quiet, cozy, be able to disconnect abode, use what you have. And again, I always recommend that people, and everybody's not going to do this, but start with your home just for a weekend. I mean, you don't have to pay anything. That's the other thing about it too. You don't pay any expense having a short-term rental if it's your own home. You don't have any expense out of pocket because they don't take out any fees until you get paid. Yeah. So why not go ahead and just start? And why not start with your home? But then I know everybody, is not open to that and up to that, but that's going to be a good way for you to learn the business, learn all the ins and outs, figure out what you like and what you don't like, what you need to change, and who you want to market to. So I always recommend that people would start with their home first, be open and willing to do that. And like I say, you can just do it for a weekend just to try it out and see how it go. Okay, so then after what's going on? So after you market, or you have in mind the market that you want, the next thing is going to be actually starting. So actually going ahead and getting on the booking platforms and creating the account, creating your profile. And they'll have everything on there step by step on what to do.
They give you hints, ideas, details on things that will help you promote your location too.
Yes, yep, they sure will, absolutely. And then once you do that, once you have all of that done, then now it's just a matter of just going ahead and getting the bookings, researching, looking through all the other short-term rental, your competitors per se, who are on the platforms, read through and see how they have theirs set up and what they're offering to their guests. And then just learn, you learn by reading and research. So just learn that.
Let's see. See how everything runs, of course. And then if you have that desire to expand and maybe get another location, just be as smart as possible when you decide to do that, because there has been several people that, especially in Nashville, made a huge investment in us. And if you go into Nashville, you see all these new high rises. People were paying $3, $4, all the way up to $700,000, $800,000 for places like that, just for short-term rental. But with Davidson County and just different lobbyists, they pretty much lobbied to get a lot of the rules changed, and a lot of those people were losing those homes and having to sell and go bankrupt or get out of short-term rental and go long-term rental. But now they're stuck with a huge debt and everything, and they may not be able to cover all the expenses that they actually started with. So you've got to be very careful.
Yes, absolutely. And then we wanted to do this video because we're always getting asked about our business and short-term rentals and Airbnb, to where it takes a lot of time too. We're giving you all like the the topics and the cliff notes on it. But if someone is really serious about having a short-term rental business, or just not even having a business, but you want to, get into short-term rentals, it's a lot of details and so, behind the scenes. And I move fairly quickly. I don't like lingering around when I'm trying to get one started, when I'm trying to get a new rental started. So it's a lot quickly that you have to go over. Yeah. So what we are offering though is anyone who is serious and want to go ahead and start having with their short-term rental business now, then we are going to open up and do one-on-one consultations from beginning to end until you get your first booking. So if anyone is interested in that, we are going to start that. We'll start doing that next week. We'll start doing that next week.
Let's leave her.
It's $100. It's just a flat rate. It'll be a week that you will have us, from sun up to sundown and beyond. It's not $100 per day. It's just $100 flat fee. Okay. Because I'm a big advocate about people starting their own business. And I believe that anyone can start a business if they're serious enough about it. And I just want us all to win. I'm just here for all of us to be. That was the whole point of us having a business and growing our businesses, so that we can help others too. Yes. And help you to where you don't have to struggle, because we done been through the struggle. So we can definitely tell you, our mistakes that we made, so you don't make them. Yeah.
I understand you're going to make mistakes. That's just with life, period. So you just got to be able to have tougher skin to understand this is not just necessarily a mistake, it's a learning lesson.
Absolutely.
What did I learn from this? And you move forward from there.
Absolutely.
It is one question that I know I've been asked a lot of, and it's with the house cleaning. When you typically start and say you're just doing your house, you clean. You're going to clean your house better than you would think anybody else will. You'll be looking at certain areas and everything.
Yeah, you're gonna be
I
very
will
particular.
start cleaning first until it becomes so time consuming to where you're not able to. That's when you start hiring somebody.
Yes, absolutely.
Hire, if you have kids, teenagers, hire your teenagers. Teach them everything they need to know to clean.
Yeah.
And then go from there. All close friends, family members, definitely do that. That will save you a ton. Now, for those who may not want to get into short-term rental, there's different platforms you can use to get into the house cleaning, because that's what I'm constantly asked. Do I have somebody that want to clean? Yeah. Sorry. Do you have some stuff that this person can clean, or how can I get into cleaning business? There's a lot of short-term rental chats, the group chats like on Facebook. You can look those up, join those, advertise yourself as far as a cleaner. You can pick those up, pick things up that way. If you happen to pick up one or two, ask them, do they have anybody else, or do they have extra units? Do they know people that's getting involved in short-term rental? And, see if they will let them know by just passing your name to them so you can get more clients. But that's a way of getting in.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. For a minimum cost.
Yeah, you don't want to go in charging people crazy either.
Yeah.
So if you do buy square footage, as long as it's a fair amount, you're good. Some people have to do a walkthrough and they judge it by eye. They judge it by how much they got to clean, what
they're cleaning,
detail
how
they have to
detailed,
clean,
yes,
and everything.
yes,
So it's just different prices like that.
Yeah.
So also clean your own stuff. That saves you a lot of money. If you hadn't to send it to a dry cleaners and everything like that, that's
your
an
linens,
expense.
yes, absolutely.
That is a huge expense. So you want to clean things yourself. We personally went and purchased new washers and dryers. One that
the commercial size washer and
one
dryers,
that's big of an expense. But the great thing about it is we were able to write that off on taxes, and we utilize it ourselves. So just a win-win on that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, well, that wraps up as far as all the questions that we received. If there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments, or you can reach out to us. Either way, we're always up to answering questions that anyone may have. But if we may do another Q&A, or just do a topic session. We'll just play it by ear and just see how the questions come in. But again, feel free to reach out to us, mostly Ricky.
Look, I'm available now, but once you live here locally, once Davidson County kids come back to school, I won't be able to answer the phone. Right now, they're not in school. We have just a few that's going, but we're in the process of getting everybody back in school. So I'm not going to be able to answer the phone in another 2 weeks anyway. So it's best to call her, contact her.
Well, don't call me. Then send
her a text or something.
Send a text if you have my number. If not, just send a little comment, send me a message. I will get to it. Yes.
Yeah. You can send me a message and I will forward it over to her.
Perfect. All right. Well, this wraps everything up. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you for your questions. We have more information coming soon. We have a lot of things in the works, so just need to prioritize and get it all organized for you. But be on the lookout. There's more coming to you. All right. Well, y'all have a good evening. Good night. Bye.
Titans 5-0.
Bye, guys.